No matter your profession or industry, you can see your competition landing clients left, right, and center, and you've decided you want a piece of the action, but you don't know where to start. Well, one of the worst things you could do is think that you need a fancy website to get started. I made my first $10 million online before ever having a website, and in this video, I want to save you the time and money that you would have spent either building one yourself or paying someone else to build one for you. But first, if you're new here, my name's John, husband, father, an online entrepreneur, and the founder of AdClients.com. And over the last 10 years, we've generated over $30 million on the internet, and I've done that without hustling 24/7, sacrificing my personal life, or having to give up the things that I enjoy. And now here on the channel, I help other people do the same. So if you don't want a website, then how on earth are people going to find you online? Furthermore, how are you going to convert people online to paying customers or clients for your business? Well, the answer lies in something called a sales funnel. The big difference is that a website is a main homepage where there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's no clear direction. You're not really telling the prospect what they should be doing or where they should be going next. Whereas a sales funnel is a sequential sequence of pages that's going to lead the prospect from one activity at a time through that series of pages, giving them more information at each stage and eventually leading them to a place where they can make an informed decision to purchase from your business. Now, further on in this video, I'm actually going to not only show you an example of one of my most successful sales funnels, but I'm actually going to walk you through how to build one, and we'll get to that at the end of the video. But before we get into that, we need to first understand a bit more about why a website is not the starting point. Now, please don't hear what I'm not saying. I don't think websites are necessarily bad. I do think they have a place in your business, but at a very specific stage. Too often, I come across clients of mine that are wanting to launch their coaching business online or launch a service online, and we default to these old traditional ways of putting ourselves out there: networking meetings, business cards, and a website. And these are three things that are so outdated, they're not catching up with what is effective and working right now. And of course, website is on that list. It feels good to build a website. It feels comfortable to build a website, and it makes us feel good having a place where people can find you. But can they find you? Because unless you know where to put that website, and unless you know how to convert the people visiting the website into clients, it's not serving a purpose for your business that it was intended for. Furthermore, if we were ever going to explore paid advertising, for example, going to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram and paying those platforms to send us some traffic, we would never send that to a website. We would instead send that traffic into a sales funnel that actually has a purpose for that traffic, has a journey for that traffic, and has an outcome that we can quantify so that we can see if we're getting a positive return on our advertising. We can't see that with a website. The moment in your business where a website becomes an interesting asset to think about building is once you have some momentum with your business, you have some traffic coming from social media, you're making some sales in your sales funnels, and now you've got people that are just word of mouth talking about you. They are going to Google, they are searching for you. They want to now learn a bit more about who you are and a bit more about your business because they've already seen you somewhere else. That's where a website can inform them on a whole variety of different stuff. It's not where you're naturally going to convert them, but it's where people that have already heard about you can learn more. Take my website, for example. You go to AdClients.com. This is my homepage. This is my quote unquote website. This is not a sales funnel. And the reason this is not going to be a place where I would ever actively point traffic to is because, firstly, there is no clear call to action. You land on this page, and what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to click on learn more? Or what am I learning more about? Am I clicking on one of these products to learn more about those? Am I going to scroll down a bit further and see what we've got at the bottom of the page? Am I going to click on one of these links? They've all got drop downs. Which one am I going to? There's no clear path. So this website is designed for someone who just wants to scroll around and click on a whole bunch of stuff, but there's no clear journey. Following on from that, it's not built for conversion. Okay, this hasn't been designed in such a way where I'm going to be able to maximize the amount of people that land on this page, moving to another page and taking the first step in my business. It hasn't been designed for that purpose. And lastly, I'm not providing any value here. You with me? Inside of a sales funnel, depending on which one we use, we can actually provide some value. And when we provide value to prospects, we build trust. When we build trust, we increase the likelihood that they might buy something from us. Whereas a website is not inherently providing any value. It is serving as a billboard online for you and your business once they've already received value from you somewhere else. So then how do we go about building one of these wonderful sales funnels? Well, the good news for you is it's actually become easier and cheaper than it's ever been before. There are platforms now that will do almost everything that you need when it comes to not only building a sales funnel, but actually handling the email marketing that goes alongside that, hosting any online courses and programs that you have, along with a whole host of other features and tools as well. My favorite is one that I designed, built, and invested in myself called Funneler. Me and my business partner have put millions collectively into the development of this piece of kit, and it will do everything that you need. Our AdClients company right now does around about $5 million per year in online sales, and we run the entire business through the Funneler platform. And what's really cool about this is when you're ready for a website, you can host your website on here too. So AdClients.com, hosted on Funneler, but then we have our funnels in here, we host our programs in here, we sell our products in here, we handle all of our orders and payments and billing in here, we have a help desk for our customers and our clients, we have a blog, and we have our email marketing. It's all in here and it's really cool. But for today, I want to focus on the funnels, and I want to take you into this section and actually start to build a funnel with you so you can see how simple it can be, how quick it can be, and how you could, in the matter of a few days, have a sales funnel of your own to put yourself out there online and start landing some customers. And by the way, if you want a free trial to play around with this software and see if it's a good fit for you, there's a link in the description box. Go ahead and click on that and you can just test drive it completely for free. So I want to show you what a sales funnel could look like once it's built, because one of the things that we designed with this is, I don't know about you, I'm very visual. I need to be able to see everything in one snapshot. And so we designed what we call the visual funnel builder. And you can see here, this is one of my sales funnels, but I can visually see everything that's going on from top to bottom. So I've got my opt-in page. I've currently got a split test running to see which version is performing better. If someone comes and lands on that page, which I'll show you a little bit later on, and they opt in with their name and their email address, then I can add them to a list for my email marketing later on. I can assign a tag to them, which is essentially just saying, I want to pop this tag on to let me know in weeks, months, and years to come where you first came into my system. I'm identifying you with a tag. And I'm also starting an automated email sequence to kick off the sales process automatically. Then I want to take them straight to a sales page to offer my first product. If they buy that, they come to a checkout page, and so on and so forth. We'll get back to this a little bit later on, but this is how one of your funnels could look. Rather than having one website that's got a whole host of stuff on it, it's confusing, they don't know where to go. Instead, we have a series of pages and actions, just as you're seeing here, that are very sequential, one to the next, and it's serving a purpose all the way along. So how do we go about building one of these? Well, let's go back to the Funneler dashboard, and I'm going to navigate over here to funnels. And I'm going to click up the top here, add new funnel. I'm going to give this funnel a name, so I'll say YouTube example. We can assign that sales funnel to a certain website domain name. So if you have a website, we can have all of your sales funnels built off of that root domain, meaning I can have AdClients.com, and then my sales funnels could be AdClients.com/ whatever extension I want it to be. If you don't have a website, then you just choose a domain name here, and that will be where you'll build your funnels from. We've got templates built in that you can build from. We've got expiry features in here so that you can have these sales funnels expire at certain dates and times to create urgency and scarcity. But for now, we'll stick with a blank funnel and we'll build from scratch. And then we're presented with this screen here. Now, we're not going to build out an entire funnel in this video, but I want to show you how easy it is to get started. We will click on the first step, which is to add a page. Every sales funnel starts with where are we going to be driving that traffic? And so I can choose any one of these predetermined types of pages, or I can start with a custom blank one. But I'm going to go with an opt-in page, because for this particular sales funnel, I want to start collecting names and email addresses so that I can start to build my email list, and then I can follow up with these people afterwards. So I'm going to give my opt-in page a name. I'll just call it opt-in. I can decide what email list I want to add them to, and I can select one of those. I can start a sequence if I want some automated emails to kick off that are being sent to these prospects without me lifting a finger. So maybe I'll add them to one of those email sequences. And just like that, it's created me my page and it's assigned these 2 actions to happen when somebody opts in. Now, if I go and edit this page, the first thing I'm going to want to do is choose a page template. Now, again, we can build from complete scratch, or we can choose one of these predetermined templates. I quite like this one. I might click apply, and just like that, I have my very own opt-in page that is ready to use. We can use our lightning fast editor to change the image to something of ourselves. We can add a product image if it's a lead magnet that we're enticing them to opt in for. We can change our headline, and we can go ahead and publish the page. And then if I click the funneler logo here at the top left, we come back to the visual funnel builder, and it's going to show us a little preview window of what that particular page is. And then I can add another page down here, which maybe I'm going to take them to a sales page. So I'll call that sales page. I'll save that page. I'll do the same thing, and I'll go in here and I'll add a template to this page. Maybe I want the theme to match the one that I already chose. So I'll go into that style and that color scheme, and I'll click apply to current page. And just like that, I have added a sales page ready to sell my product. I can publish the page. I can go back to my visual funnel builder, and I have an opt-in page that traffic can visit. They can do one action and one action only, which is to opt onto my email list. I will add them to my list. I will start a sequence, and I will automatically take them to the next step in the funnel, which is to hear about one of my products and maybe purchase it. And in a matter of minutes, you will have an asset for your business that will be more effective and more profitable than a website ever would have been. So now let's go ahead and take a look at a real example of one of these sales funnels when it's fully fleshed out with all of the different bells and whistles that you could put on it. Now, I'd like to make it clear at this point, there's a whole host of different sales funnels that you can use that lead a prospect in a slightly different way, or lead them to a slightly different outcome, or sell a product of yours at a slightly different price point. Depending on how much you charge, you might be using a slightly different sales funnel to achieve customers out the other end. But I want to show you one example just so that you get an idea of what's possible. So I already started to walk you through this funnel earlier on in this video, but let's actually look at this step by step so you can see this in action. And if you want to actually go ahead and opt in for this yourself and experience the flow as a user and as a prospect, then I'll leave a link in the description box for you to be able to go ahead and do that. So as you might expect, the first step in this sales funnel is to generate leads from an opt-in page. But what I've got here is a split test set up. And for those that don't know, a split test is where I can set up multiple versions of an opt-in page, and I can see which one is converting better. Another advantage of a sales funnel over a website. With a sales funnel, I can see this data, I can see these analytics, and I can see per 100 clicks that land on this sales funnel, which version of the opt-in page is giving me the greatest conversion rate to lead, and then I can award that version of the page as the winner. And setting up a split test is as simple as clicking these 3 dots and add a split test. And there you go. My traffic is automatically going to be split now between 3 versions of the page. But let's take a look at the page itself. Nice, clean, simple, but there's only one thing and one thing only to do on this page, and that's to click this button, give me your name and email address, and move through to the next step. When they opt in, of course, we've got these actions that are being applied. They're being added to a list. I'm assigning a tag, and I'm starting an email sequence, and I'm then taking them to my sales page, which is this page here. I say thank you so much for grabbing a copy of my free gift and becoming an email subscriber. Now you might be interested in getting the details of this $7 product that I've got that's going to teach you X, Y, Z. I might have a video at the top here that shares what it is and what it can do for them and how great value for money this is at $7. And I present a button where they can go ahead and click to purchase that. Now the idea is, because we are leading them through a process, they're getting drawn into the flow. They've landed on the page, they've opted in, they're already into taking action. To add a product for $7 might be something that they will impulsively want to do. Well, if they do that, then it's going to take them to a checkout page where they can actually put that payment through. So they'd land on a page like this, they'll submit their $7, they'll click this button to put that payment through. And then let's look at our visual funnel builder to see where they're going to go next. Well, if their payment goes through, I sell them this product. I even have the ability, if I want to assign another tag to this person now to say they've purchased this particular product just for my records. And then I can take them to what we call an upsell page. And an upsell page is where we say, well, you just bought something. Now you're in this mode of buying things. Would you like something else? Can I offer you something to add onto your order? That's exactly what I do right here on this page. I now congratulate them for the purchase that they just made, and I offer them the next thing, which in this case, the price is starting to increase. I'm offering them something for $97. And you might say, well, John, a jump from 7 to 97 is a bit of a jump. How many people can I expect to take that? Well, you've got to keep in mind, the idea here is not to get every single person who paid $7 to now pay $97. That would be unrealistic. In fact, it's going to be a smaller portion of people that want it. But why wouldn't we offer it? If only 10% of people take it, or 20% of people take it, heck, even if only 5% of people take it, it's a bunch of $97 that you otherwise never would have had. And so I've made that offer. Some people will click this button and want to purchase, and some will say, no thanks, I'm happy with the purchase that I've just made. Now, again, what's really awesome about a sales funnel like this is we can create a yes and a no path. What this means is if they say yes to taking the upsell, then I can take them to a custom next page. And if they say no to the upsell, I can take them down a completely different path and show them a different series of pages. It's incredibly powerful to do this because we're able to maximize the sales that we're making through the funnel by tailoring the messages on the next page based on the previous action they just took. Now, whether they say yes or no to that upsell, I have another offer that I put in front of them, but you get the idea. And all of this leads down to a thank you page where I essentially say, thanks so much. You've been through my process, you've purchased some stuff, you've made a great decision, and I can point them to check their email for confirmation of their purchase and login details to access these products and so on and so forth. That's a sales funnel. That's the power of a sales funnel, and they are so much more profitable and so much more effective than a website. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have and you want to further your education, there's a video right here that you should absolutely check out. I show you how I made $3.2 million with a very simple $7 sales funnel. It's incredible. Go ahead and check that out, and I hope to see you in a future video.